You know, comfort food, it's kind of a relative term. It's this really fun sun-dried tomato, bacon, mushroom, chicken pasta dish that I like to do. It's kind of like one of those things when it's rainy outside and I'm kind of tired from working all day. I'm like, I want to do something easy and simple and something delicious. So let's do that. Let's jump right in by getting a big pot of water boiling. We're going to add a bunch of salt because this is pasta water and you need to salt your pasta water. We're going to slice some mushrooms. Today I'm using button mushrooms. I've done this before with shiitakes or different other kinds of mushrooms. Use whatever mushrooms you like. I just wanted something a bit more delicate as my little helper in the kitchen. So we're going to add some bacon to a large saute pan. We're going to cook that on like medium heat, kind of medium-low heat. We want to render out a lot of fat. I've got another little tiny pot. I'm going to add some butter and some bacon fat. If you don't save your bacon fat, you're crazy. It's like gold. Delicious. We're going to add that to the butter. This is going to do two things. It's going to add a lot of flavor, and it's also going to up the smoking point of our butter. It's going to make our butter get hotter without burning. So we're going to mix that bacon fat and that butter, melt it down nicely. Now we're going to add some all-purpose flour. Now today we are creating a roux. That's what this is. It's a thickening agent, basically. So it's basically equal parts fat and flour. I actually like to do a little bit more fat, so it's a little loose. But you're basically going to stir the flour into the fat, stirring constantly, cooking for 10 minutes plus. You can go even further to get more of a nutty flavor. Now we're going to drain our bacon, and I've got some more stirring. You're going to stir a lot. The key to getting a good roux is to keep stirring it. You don't want it to burn or be uneven when you cook it. Now we're going to put our chicken breasts, boneless and skinless, into our bacon fat and let them get nice and crisp. We're going to add just a bit of salt and pepper. Don't worry about seasoning it before it goes on because we're going to mix it with the sauce and we'll get to that later. So this is all going to get really beautiful and crispy in that bacon fat, also imparting more flavor into our chicken. Now we're going to add some chopped minced garlic, and we're going to add some of the sun-dried tomato spread. You can use a sun-dried tomato paste. Basically, we want something thin that's going to mix into our sauce. It's going to change the color, and it's going to really add a lot of flavor. That sun-dried tomato spread that I find, I usually get it at Publix. Pretty easy to find. It's got a lot of rich flavor. So we're going to stir that into our roux, and we're going to start adding our milk. Now, we want to add our milk in small little bits, in small increments, about a quarter cup at a time, and stir that in. This is the technique to getting a really smooth sauce. We don't want to add it all at one time. It's going to get clumpy. So add it little by little and keep stirring until it's nice and smooth and the consistency that you want. It's going to thicken up just a little bit more as it cooks, so you may need to add a little more milk or a little less depending on the consistency that you want. I wanted it to be right about here, a little bit loose, because I want to mix it in with the chicken and mushrooms. We'll get to that in a second. Give our chicken a flip. Cook them on the other side. I'm going to add just a little bit of salt and pepper to the other side as well. And yeah, those bubbles are just awesome. Cooking in bacon fat's fun. There we go. Dance party. Dance break. We're going to add a little bit of salt and pepper to this sauce. Now, don't over salt because we're going to add some Parmesan in just a minute. And there's a lot of saltiness in Parmesan, so don't over season your sauce. Just get it to close to where you want to be. So now I've got some Parmigiano Reggiano. We're going to shred that up nice and small and add that. Now we're going to adjust our seasoning after this. I actually like to go a little on the salty side for this dish, only because we're mixing it into the noodles. We'll get to that in a minute. Over season by a little bit, whatever, we'll get there. So yeah, the sauce is really creamy, really rich and wonderful. The sun-dried tomato and the garlic really make it pop too, and the Parmesan. So now at the bottom of our pan, the delicious brown bits, that's called fond, and there's a ton of flavor. It's basically the caramelized proteins from the bacon and the chicken. We're gonna cook our mushrooms in the bacon fat and fond. Let that cook for 4 or 5 minutes or so, kind of stirring fairly often. But then we want to bring all of that flavor from the fond back into our mushrooms and our chicken. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of water or chicken stock, and we're actually going to stir the fond back into the liquid. Now, as this starts to boil, it's all going to loosen up and incorporate back into the liquid. Now we're maximizing our flavor with everything that we've already created. So we're going to let that simmer for just a bit. You don't need to add too much water or chicken stock, just enough to get that fond to come up and let the mushrooms soak up all that wonderful flavor. Now boil the water before you add your noodles. Today I'm using penne. We're gonna add some penne noodles to the boiling salted water. and let those cook. Those don't take too long. Let's chop up our bacon nice and small. We're going to add this to our sauce as well. Now, earlier I was talking about over-seasoning. So we've got saltiness from the sun-dried tomato spread. We have some saltiness from the bacon and from the Parmesan cheese. So wait to the end to adjust the salt, the actual salt in your seasoning. Take our chicken out and let that liquid reduce with the mushrooms. We're also going to add some frozen peas. Don't be afraid of frozen peas. Peas really hold up well even when they're frozen, and they're delicious. So we're going to add our frozen peas to our mushrooms. Give that a mix. Let the peas and mushrooms marry and get delicious. We're going to dice up all of our chicken. Now you can see how juicy and delicious that chicken is. We didn't cook it super high. We just let it sizzle and sear in that beautiful bacon fat. So now we're going to add our chicken back to our pan with our mushrooms and our peas. Give that a little stir. Let's turn the heat down to low because we don't need to cook it anymore. Unless your chicken is a little bit underdone, you can go ahead and cook it a little bit more now. So now I'm going to drain my pasta. We're going to give it a shake. Get that water off. We're going to add the pasta back to the pot that we cooked the pasta in. Trying to save on dishes. Uh-oh, it's time for a queen break. Yeah, boy. My little dancer. My little cooking buddy. Now we're going to add our chicken and vegetables to our noodles. We're also going to add our sauce. Now, not having to make too many dishes, I guess, is relative because we have 3 pots out. But mixing it all in this pot makes things pretty simple. Add our sauce, give that a mix, and we are all finished. This is really one of those dishes that it doesn't take a genius to make it. It's not really hard, and the flavors are really, really wonderful. They're all warm flavors. We have the chicken and the bacon and the sun-dried tomato and the garlic, and it just, on a colder, wintry fall day, it brings up the spirits. I really enjoy this recipe. It's simple, it's easy. I know you guys can do it, and if you do, be sure to tag us with It's a Party TV. If you're not following us on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff, then what the heck are you doing? Go follow us. Come on now. If you guys like it, leave us a comment below. Let us know if you loved it or not. If you want to see something else, have us teach you how to make something new, leave it in the comments. Share it if you love it, because with good food and good drinks, it's a party.